Reactions to the verdict in the Derek Chauvin trial, body cam footage released from a fatal police shooting in Columbus, and the Norman City Council votes to cut from the police department's requested budget. This is OU Nightly. Thanks for joining us for OU Nightly. I'm Will Blessing.
And I'm Mckenzie Gladney. Our top story tonight, reactions from the verdicts in the trial of Derek Chauvin. The former Minneapolis police officer was found guilty on all counts in the death of George Floyd, an African-American man who was first investigated for passing a counterfeit $20 bill. Groups and organizations across the country were pleased with the ruling, and they say they will continue to take a stand on social justice. Here at OU, the Black Student Association hopes the verdict means to continue steps in the right direction.
So yeah, not to necessarily speak, or I'm saying I can't speak for BSA as a whole, but I feel like as a Black community, getting that result was like a little bit of weight lifted off our shoulders. I was relieved that for once, a police officer was being held accountable for the actions that they had done, or they're just there if you need to talk and if you want that support, or if you want information. There's a lot of members who will simply inform you on what's going on, inform you on how the community as a whole is feeling as a response to what's going on. So BSA in general has just been a really great support system, and it's a really good resource if people want to know how to not be a part of the problem.
The Black Student Association says it welcomes all students to engage in their programs and educate others on diversity and inclusion.
The Columbus Police Department releases body camera footage from the deadly shooting of a 16-year-old girl yesterday afternoon. Police say that Micaiah Bryant was trying to stab another girl in front of the police officer and that the officer fired to save the victim. Bryant was taken to a local hospital and pronounced dead. Columbus Mayor Andrew Ginther expresses anger with the shooting in a press conference today.
Bottom line. Did Micaiah Bryant need to die yesterday? How did we get here? This is a failure on part of our community. Some are guilty, but all of us are responsible.
At the time of the shooting, Bryant had been under the care of Franklin County Children's Services. The Ohio Bureau of Criminal Investigation is currently looking into the matter.
The Norman City Council met last night regarding Norman PD's budget. After several months of debate, a decision was voted on. Sydney Baulier joins us in the newsroom with more information. Sydney.
Last night, the Norman City Council voted once again to cut $865,000 from Norman PD's overall $31 million budget to use toward community programs. Back in June, the council voted on the same budget cut, but after both the Cleveland County Court and the Oklahoma State Court sided with the FOP and ruled that the June meeting violated the Open Meetings Act, the council met again to vote on the proposed cuts. The City Council approved 3 amendments detailing how the $865,000 would be dispersed. $630,000 of the budget cut will go towards community outreach programs, and $235,000 will go towards hiring a city auditor. When I asked Councilman Stephen Holman how soon these cuts would be implemented, he told me that they are already in the works.
Immediately is how soon, because we had already approved this in June, and work would have already begun on the programs that we had spoke about mental health crisis response, another entity to help the police department to, in some cases, relieve the police department of the responsibility of having to be the only thing that we can call for help. And maybe help doesn't always need a gun and a badge.
The proposed fiscal year 2021 budget included a $969,000 increase for the Norman Police Department. With the council-approved reduction, the police budget will be increased by $100,000. Will and Mckenzie, back to you.
Attorney General Merrick Garland made a big announcement today. Katie Arata has that story and the rest of today's headlines from around the world.
Yes, Mckenzie. Today, Attorney General Merrick Garland announced that the Department of Justice is launching an investigation into the practices of the Minneapolis Police Department.
I am announcing that the Justice Department has opened a civil investigation to determine whether the Minneapolis Police Department engages in a pattern or practice of unconstitutional or unlawful policing.
Garland says his investigation will look for patterns of abuse. And India is now a key driver in the global surge of coronavirus cases. In less than a week, the country has recorded 1.5 million cases.
We're going through pretty much the worst possible phase of the pandemic here. It has been bad for a couple of weeks, but now it's reached a peak. And essentially what's happened right now is that the health system is just not able to keep pace with the sheer number of cases that are coming in.
And today, nearly 300,000 new cases and infections and 2,000 deaths were reported. And Pfizer is issuing a warning about counterfeit versions of its COVID-19 vaccine. The drug maker says these fraudulent shots were identified in Mexico and Poland. Pfizer released a statement Wednesday saying its team of specialists are working with law enforcement officials and others to fight the illegal trade. It also stresses no legitimate vaccine is ever sold online, and vaccinations must be administered at official centers or by certified health providers. And in other news, the FDA has temporarily shut down a Baltimore facility that makes the drug substance for the Johnson & Johnson's COVID vaccine. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Katie. The Oklahoma State Department of Health reports over 200 new cases of COVID-19 as the spread of the virus continues to slow across the state. This brings the total number of active cases to more than 10,000, while just over 8,000 people have died so far in Oklahoma from the virus. These numbers come as more people are now eligible to receive the COVID-19 vaccine.
COVID-19 vaccine supply in Oklahoma is beginning to outpace the demand for receiving the shot. As mega vaccine pods continue across the state, the number of unfilled appointment slot increases. Over 26% of Oklahomans have been fully vaccinated, and just over 37% have received at least one dose of the vaccine. Emmy Labs is hosting events this week in Oklahoma City, and employees say the demand has slowed down significantly.
It's kind of interesting because recently all the phases have opened up in Oklahoma, and we're kind of struggling to fill appointments right now, which is a little bit crazy, but we're still getting appointments and we're still getting people vaccinated, which is still awesome. So
President Biden announced today that the United States hit the 200 million mark of COVID vaccines, and Oklahoma will continue to have appointments available. And looking outside, it's much warmer today than compared to yesterday.
Yes, definitely. Jack Maney is live outside. Jack, are we going to see another change in the weather like we did between today and yesterday?
That's right, guys. Can you believe the turnaround we've had here? It's beautiful, bright sunshine, light winds. I'd say if it was just 10 degrees warmer, I'd say that this is about as perfect of a day as we can get. Across the state, we're looking at temperatures really pretty similar. We're looking at 60s and just really beautiful weather. But, of course, it is springtime in Oklahoma, and that means that that's getting ready to change. We've got big weather changes coming in for tomorrow. We're going to be back with colder temperatures and some drizzle around. And then a severe weather chance comes in on Friday. We're going to break down all of the details, how much rain we could see, severe storms, what threats you guys could see coming in towards the end of the week, and what we've got coming into this weekend with our beautiful temperatures and the turnaround that we could see before, of course, we've got more severe weather coming up later on in next week. We'll have all those details coming up later in the show. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Jack. Now, this e-commerce giant is expanding to its biggest area yet. After the break, we'll tell you how your payment technology could soon see a change.
Plus, a look into rising car prices, why you may want to wait before buying a car when we come back.
Welcome back to OU Nightly. Unemployment numbers are rising in the United States.
Grace Whitten joins us with a look at those numbers and Money Matters.
Mckenzie and Will, it is no secret that the pandemic has affected the job market, especially the labor market. And today, the government added a little bit more detail about unemployment statistics. The Bureau of Labor says that nearly 10% of American families had at least one unemployed family member in 2020. Last year alone, almost 9 million families had a job loss. To put this in perspective, that is double the number from 2019. And of these job losses, white families were least likely to have an unemployed family member, and Hispanic families were the most likely. If you're thinking about buying a car, you might want to wait. Car prices are spiking at record highs and continue to rise. People are starting to buy more vehicles and dealers have less inventory to sell. The demand is in part by people returning back to work and needing to commute and the extra change from the stimulus check. But the short supply is due to reduced production because of a microchip shortage. The average new car price is up more than 8% from a year ago, and it is also affecting the prices of used cars. Amazon is rolling out palm scanners at a Whole Foods store in Seattle. The technology will allow customers to pay by holding their hand above a scanner. Amazon has already been using this technology at some of their stores in the city. The company is hoping to bring it to 8 Whole Foods stores in the next few months. The scanner works by giving your credit card information to the company and scanning a palm print, and then you can pay for items by hovering your hand above a scanner. And the U.S. Department of Agriculture is extending the free school lunch program to the spring of 2022. Will and Mckenzie, back to you.
Thanks, Grace. Now, Thursday is a good time to pay close attention to the sky because you'll see a dazzling display.
And you're going to want to stick with us to learn just the right time to get the best view.
And Taylor, what's the weather looking like?
Friday is another time to look at the sky because we do have severe weather changes on the way. I have more on that after the break. Welcome back to OU Nightly. What a beautiful day outside in Oklahoma City. Clear skies and temperatures in the upper 50s. We have a few, gusts of wind coming out of there. Dew points are low, so it's nice and dry. But that will all change as we go into Friday. Currently, we are in a slight risk across most of our viewing area, especially in Norman and Oklahoma City. That is a 2 out of 5 chance for severe storms. Our main threats are baseball-sized hail, 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts, some flash flooding, and you cannot rule out a tornado threat. Here is the timing of those storms on Friday. So let's take a look. Thursday at 1 p.m., storms are starting to move out. There's a few showers across the area. Then as we head into Friday, we do have some more storms centered around McAllister and Idabel. And then as we go into the evening part, around 7 p.m. on Friday evening, we do have some purple showing up on the radar. That's showing some hail cores. We do even have some discrete cells that are happening across the eastern part of the state. So be sure you're weather aware because those discrete cells could turn into some very large hail or even a tornado. But lows tonight in the low 40s, 41 in Oklahoma City and 41 in Norman. A little bit warmer than this time of year, but then in the northern counties, we do have a freeze warning in effect until tomorrow at 8 a.m. Waking up and walking out the door tomorrow, 44 degrees, but you're going to want to bring an umbrella because there's a slight chance for rain here in Norman. We're going to only slightly warm up to the mid-50s. Highs tomorrow, again, mid-50s across the state. You might want to go out to Idabel if you want to get a chance to see some 60s because that's where it's going to be the warmest tomorrow. Looking at our 2-day forecast, Thursday and Friday, just rain and storms, especially we have this chance for some severe storms on Friday. Going into Saturday and Sunday, what a beautiful weekend. Warming up to 75 on Sunday, and we do have the chance for some more storms on Tuesday. Mckenzie and Will?
Thanks, Taylor. Now, whether you're up all night or an early riser, take a second to look up in the sky. You might be surprised at what you might see. Starting around midnight tonight, stargazers will be able to see the Lyrid meteor shower. The shower is known for producing shooting stars that appear as fireballs, but seeing the meteors will be a little tougher this year. The moon will only be illuminated about 70%, making it harder to see the show. And experts say the best time to see the meteors will be between 4 and 5 a.m. after the moon sets, but before the sun rises. And Sooner softball had 2 very different games down in Georgia.
Yeah, Addie Crawford is here. Addie, what happened in Athens?
Yesterday was a bit of a whirlwind for OU softball. The #1 Sooners traveled down to Georgia for a doubleheader matchup. Don't move, sports is right around the corner. Thanks for sticking with us. OU softball took their first L yesterday, but bounced back in Game 2 of their doubleheader against Georgia. Game 1 was a nail-biter with the Sooners losing by only a run, which broke their perfect 33-0 record. But OU had more steam coming in Game 2, notching their 26th run rule win of the season, 12-3. The Sooners are back in Norman this weekend for a 3-game homestand versus Texas Tech. Following the Chauvin verdict, OU Athletics took to social media with their support of equal opportunity and treatment for all. OU Athletics stated that they will work tirelessly to educate and foster a genuine community that finds equal value in all human beings and commends those who upheld justice and hold those who break the law accountable. The Las Vegas Raiders sent out a tweet as well after the Chauvin verdict that resulted in widespread criticism. The tweet read, "I can breathe," in reference to George Floyd telling officers he couldn't breathe more than 20 times before being killed. Raiders owner Mark Davis stands by his tweet and says that he meant no disrespect. College athletes at Syracuse University in New York participated in a Black Lives Matter march today on campus. The event was meant to empower Black athletes and educate other races who were also in attendance. The march was used as a platform for students to express unity and support with the Asian and Pacific Islanders against hate. And football season is coming. The NFL said today they'll announce the full 2021 season schedule, but you'll have to wait until May 12th to find out where and when your favorite teams are playing. For the first time ever, this season will have teams playing 17 games with a single bye week. Replay officials won't be able to throw flags or reverse calls on their own, now only being able to give referees advice. NFL kickoff weekend starts Thursday, September 9th. And the Thunder travel up north to Indiana tonight to face the Pacers. OKC is on an 11-game downfall, while the Pacers have dropped the ball on the past 3. You may or may not see Thunder star Lou Dort, as he is listed as questionable due to a hip strain injury. Tip time is at 6 p.m. We've all been waiting for the return of Anthony Davis, and after 9 long weeks, we'll see him in purple and gold tomorrow night. A calf injury and tendonitis sidelined Davis in February, and the Lakers felt the impact, dropping to 5th in their conference. But he won't be in full throttle, as head coach Frank Vogel said his playing time will be limited. Plans for the European Soccer League collapsed today, just 2 days after the alliance was made. Since the plan for the league, there's been 48 hours of frantic arguments, threats, and fury at the highest level of world soccer. 6 of the 12 clubs behind the league dropped out, forcing the remaining teams with no choice but to abandon the proposal. And check out these sick shoes. Zion Williamson is doing big things with these new high tops. Zion joins an impressive group of players signed with Jordan Brand like Russell Westbrook and Jason Tatum with these Jordan Zion 1s. The shoes will drop on Friday, selling for $120, so jump on buying a pair. I'm in love with these shoes, and I might have to buy a pair for myself. How about you guys?
Me personally, I'm a heels girl, so not a sneakerhead. I don't know about you, Will.
You know, I like the look of the shoes. I think it's great. I also think it's great that Zion is just, you know, he's the first Gen Z athlete to be a Jordan featured athlete. So, you know, it's really great to see him getting that shoe deal and, you know, making some pretty good looking shoes.
Yeah, definitely.
If I do say so myself. But, you know, we thank Addie. And if you're a regular traveler, you know that airlines like to charge additional fees.
Right, but this fee right here, it was really an expensive one. More on that when OU Nightly returns.
I'm Michael Martin at the OU Nightly Update Desk. In a dominant 2020, Netflix increased revenue by over $7 billion. But with the rise of other streaming options and more people being vaccinated, less money is expected to come into the company in 2021. Netflix is anticipating 9 million less subscribers for this April through June period. With previously postponed movies and TV shows now set to be released, Netflix has assured their investors that subscriber numbers would bounce back later this year.
Now, I'm a fan of extra legroom, but maybe not this much. A comedian says an airline almost charged him nearly 1 billion Australian dollars for extra legroom.
Dave O'Neill posted on social media that he received the payment request from Qantas Airways' online booking system. According to Qantas, the usual charge is $70 for extra legroom, but O'Neill was asked to pay $987,999,999 Australian dollars. A Qantas spokesperson said they will investigate the incident, calling the price O'Neill received, quote, a bit of a stretch.
Woo woo. And Taylor, what is the rest of our week looking like?
So we do have a severe weather potential moving in on Friday. We are in a slight risk across Norman, Oklahoma City, Lawton, Ardmore, and parts of McAllister. So basically the central part of the state. That is a 2 out of 5 chance to see some severe weather across this viewing area right here. The threats are baseball-sized hail, 70-mile-per-hour winds, flash flooding, and even a tornado or two. But looking at our 2-day forecast, it's going to remain chilly on Thursday, and then we're going to warm up and see some storms on Friday. So be weather aware as you head into your weekend.
Thanks, Taylor, and thank you for watching OU Nightly broadcast from the corner of Lindsay and Ass.
We'll be back here tomorrow, same time, in the same place. Have a great night.